We're just going right to the AMA, coming to you live from the interwebs, people. Brett's on the wrong side. I'm on the wrong side. What's going on here? I got to figure this out. Anyway, that is Brett Bohannon over there. He is the founder of Vortex, and he's an Amazon consultant, but he also does really cool spilling of things. And I'm Michael Marr. I'm on this side, and I own and run an agency. We work with brands, help them to grow on Amazon. Welcome, Brett. You've got mail.
I've got mail. Where?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, look what I did. Okay. What's good, man? How are you? Didn't I just see you?
Yep. We just talked on Monday about AI stuff and putting data into Claude.
It seems like AI is still hyped up. Not necessarily, I'm not saying overhyped, just still hyped. And man, the stuff that you're doing is way different than the stuff that I'm doing with generative AI, which to me is really interesting. Like I'm building stuff, but I'm building different things. And there's a couple of different ways to go about building something. And I think that there's levels to this, just like anything. Like someone who uses the internet could be using it to code. That's a way different perspective than someone who's using the internet to use, to have a Google search that just says, find me the, great restaurant for my anniversary. Which, if you don't know what your spouse likes at this point, I mean, let's be honest, just give up already. You've probably lost the battle and the war. So, but the levels are very different, and it sounds like you're using Claude Code a lot and Cowork. I'm mostly doing stuff inside of just, should we call it Claude proper? So inside of chat, although it is leveraging things inside of artifacts. But why don't we just walk through for people who want to implement something using Claude or whatever else? Why don't we talk through like what is a way that people can look at the different delineations if they're using Claude, and then let's talk about how we integrate that stuff into Amazon. By the way, Amazon's still Amazon. They're still doing weird things like creating compliance cases for people based off flagging off stuff that was had this happen with clients recently. One specifically, they've had old listings that have been flagged. They're continuing. We fight the cases. Amazon will trigger something else, and a variation will automatically get flagged. Like it's crazy how finicky they're being. So not much has changed on that front. Let's talk about how people look at something like Claude and how they start to integrate it into their everyday life.
Yeah, that's a good topic. I think you nailed it on the head. It's like everyone's going to use it different, and everything's just being pushed down everyone's throat right now, which isn't a bad thing, but we're at that point where everyone's like AI, agents, workflow. We're kind of at that tipping point where people are now like, well, guess what? It's not going to work, and this is why. And the doomsdayer sort of sayers, and this is typical cycle of any kind of anything that gets exciting and whatnot. You're going to have people on all different spectrums. Not saying they're wrong or not saying they're right.
It's just different perspective because the way that they're looking at it is very different.
Yeah, 100%, and also the lens that they look at it in. So, agencies in our space. Couple things on that is they're gonna use it internally, but they're gonna market it as you shouldn't use it because they want to kind of keep their face with their clients, but that's
meaning they want to still be perceived as being the knowledgeable one.
Yeah, correct. But the thing is that AI is not going to replace that knowledge.
There's so it's almost, an insecurity.
Yeah, there's almost no way that could happen. Like literally, like there's no way that you can plug your data into, let's just say you use any MCP that any software in our space company is bringing it out. There's no way that you could say, okay, for these campaigns for this product, I want it to do this, and it will be like, it will look at the data, and then it will come back and be like, cool, you should completely pause this or pause, do this and this and this. There's no context involved there, so it needs to have some sort of like harness, guardrails, whatever you want to call it. I use harness often because what I'm building with these tools are calling other tools, so it needs to harness and make sure it calls the right tools. But
you're going into this building a multi-tool suite, knowing that one thing is maybe not going to solve everything. So you're building something that's hyper focused. Then you need to have guardrails internally in each of those tools that you're building, and then you want to have an overarching thing that's controlling all of them.
Correct. Yeah.
And this is all Amazon specific, but I mean, this could be applied to something for Shopify. I'm sure it could be applied to other marketplaces. I'm sure it could be applied to almost any domain.
1,000%.
I don't just mean URL.
Yeah. Any kind of industry it can be applied to, and it is being applied to. I don't think we just don't see it that often because, we're not living in those industries.
We have our head up Amazon's ass, not someone else's.
We sure do. That's correct.
It's dark in there.
So dark. Lots of turns.
Lots of blockage.
Lots of blockage.
We need some more fiber, right?
Yeah, they're confused. Should they do Rufus? Now they're like Alexa and all this fun stuff.
I honestly think
everyone's Alexa, like now Rufus is gone. It's Cosmos, and it's like Cosmos been around for 4 years,
for a very long time, and Rufus was just I think Cosmo might have been around for even longer.
It was like it was when we went to Prosper together, and we were talking to Matt Altman about that.
Yeah. It had been around though for a little while, I thought, even at that point.
Yeah, it has. I think since like 2019, 2020. I don't know. You have to fact check me, but basically,
so I mean that's 6 years.
But here's the thing, I think, and we're going off on a tangent here, but Rufus was on top of Cosmos. That's basically what it was. It was just a layer. Like
Cosmos it was a manifestation of what here. Cosmo was doing.
Yeah.
Is it Cosmo or Cosmos?
Cosmo. The Cosmos. I think it's Cosmo.
So Cosmo was all it was is intent-based search.
Yeah.
And I think Amazon's been like that, but Cosmo was like the scientific proof of that Amazon published on Amazon.science.
Yeah.
Rufus is a manifestation of that. So when I hear people say, meaning it was helping with intent-based search. Hey, I noticed you're looking for this. Here are other items that model that. That shows up in your backend search terms, in your copy, in your images, in your A+ content, shows up in your reviews. All those things matter. And if you're saying Rufus has changed the game, my position is you didn't know what Amazon was doing in the first place. And I think that's a tell that you're focusing on something shiny and maybe even a little bit ignorant of what was happening on Amazon. I'm saying willfully, but you didn't know that it was intent-based search. You didn't know what the right things were to do. So now Rufus is the next shiny thing. Let's optimize for Rufus. Well, Rufus is like, what is that like? That's like saying, I want to optimize when I'm playing a video game. I want to get really good at playing my television. And the reality is the game is the unit. That's what you're playing. It's that. So figuring out your television is going to eventually lead you to where the game is. That was an analogy on the spot. I feel like I did pretty well.
Yeah, I give that a B.
A B? Damn it. What could I have done better? Tell me.
I don't know.
How could I have optimized my analogy, Brett?
I was looking forward to seeing what you were going to say in the analogy, and that kind of let me down. But
you get what I'm saying. It's not the.
But here's the thing: people got to market. People got to sell themselves, and people are going to do that based on what it is. So I don't.
But is that a good tell? Is that a good tell?
I don't know.
Give me a blanket statement that totally miscategorizes people and gives them a generalization. That's what I'm looking for.
It's kind of the same thing in the space that I'm building now and working in now, is that everyone's saying agents this, agents that.
Mm-hmm.
And agents have some definition to them. This isn't my definition. This is what someone at Google defined it as, like one of the head AI people. And basically, agent's a model plus a harness. So you're able to talk to the model. You can't change what the output is to the model. You can slightly based on the inputs.
Okay.
But it's also you need to create something where it doesn't drift out into the open or hallucinate as much.
Okay.
Now,
that's what the harness is.
That's what the harness is. Yeah. And on top of that, what I'm doing is creating agents, and I'm already creating these, I'm already using them. And they're boring. They're simple agents and they're not anything really that special, but they're super useful for me. And these agents are the model plus the harness plus knowledge base, and then plus a feedback loop. So I took it an extra layer and basically said, hey, like all those put together, that's
Plus
what
the
creates my
feedback loop.
agent.
Got
The
it. Okay.
feedback loop is everything that every software out there does. So it takes what you are talking to or what you're in that software, and it stores it and it goes, is this the right or wrong thing? And if it's a failure, they go, how do we make that better? And it just continuously makes it better. And that's what that next step is that how do you, so for instance, in like when I'm building out Helm, if it calls a tool and it comes back, if you're like, hey, I need to do this, this, and this, because you can't control what the user is going to input. So if someone inputs, hey, I need to research ASIN XYZ or B0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Is that a real ASIN?
Yes, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's
I'll look it up while you.
But if you're like, I need to research this, and that's a very like broad prompt or broad context. Now, if the user's intent is to research that, and then it's calling, I don't know, let's just say a data dive tool, or it's calling a smart stats tool, and it doesn't know where to go, that's a failure because the user is being lazy, and the tool with the harness is like, well, what do I call it? Didn't tell me what exactly. So that's
is it lazy or like maybe unintentionally lazy? Like they're saying do this thing,
lazy.
But they're not providing enough context to say,
correct,
here's what I'm doing, here's my objective.
Yeah.
So that the prompt sucks essentially. It's expecting it's expecting it to understand intent, and that's very hard to do when you don't give context. It doesn't know intent. It might be able to pick it up, but if you don't say, like, go and track this ASIN. What am I tracking? What am I looking for? Yeah. What is your objective in tracking this? Do you have an end goal? Is it for your brand? Is it for a client? Like, it doesn't know those things unless you provide it to it.
But it should call, it should, if you're saying track, it should be like, oh, okay, I'm going to go into data dive and do a rank radar, or, and then but then it should come back and be like, well, hey, we don't have the keywords that you want to track. Or do you just want to kind of see where your market share fits? Maybe it calls Smart Scout then, where it pulls up the market share for that particular ASIN against other ones. So that's kind of the next solve is how do you effectively do the right thing? If someone's not going to, unintentionally lazy is a perfect way to put it. They're not like intentionally doing that. So I've been unintentionally lazy and trying to like solve that and figure that out.
You know what I think makes the most sense, and I've started to preemptively do this. I will say, here's everything I know. What else do you need from me in order to reduce the amount of back and forth between us and get a better end result? And I think what could be helpful in a lot of these models is to preemptively ask people more questions before it just outputs data. And I know that requires more. People are looking for an instantaneous answer. But if it would say, hey, you said track. Here's kind of like the 3 things that I typically do when I think track. Am I missing something, or am I onto something? In a way, you're training those people to know, oh, it needs more input. And the people that are using this, I don't think are dumb people. So
no,
I can't vouch for that. But I think they are using it in order to be more productive or to be more effective or whatever they're doing. So like train those people to now give you better inputs.
Yeah. But they're also human. So maybe, they're like, oh shoot, I got real quick. And then they accidentally hit enter and they're like, oh shoot, oh no, now I got to stop and go back and all that good stuff. So, that is, humans are going to mess up no matter what. Like, that's what's going to happen. But if you can alleviate that a little bit less and have these agents take over, and I say agents lightly, it's kind of a buzzword, and I hate being part of the buzzword, but if you can have these agents go in and say, all right, like I just set up my ads agent, and my ads agent is brutally simple. It's telling me I have KPIs and stuff that I have for my accounts and budgets and all that stuff, and it pulls it every day and it tracks it. You can live artifact that in Claude Cowork, but right now it logs it into my vault. My daily agent goes through and puts together a report for me. So when I wake up in the morning, I can go, cool. All right, this is where I am with these brands and their budgets and their main KPIs and their main strategic objectives for these particular products. And same thing like we've been working with for the tracking stuff. It's like, how do you proactively stay on top of things? And I think using agents to be proactive is almost one of the best things that you can do in our space, especially as an agency. Just, because you're dealing with multiple ASINs, hundreds of ASINs. So if you can be proactive and know exactly what's going on with them before things break, I mean, that's a win.
That feels like the objective and goals. I want to avoid big problems and issues because you can't fix something before it's broken. Amazon's gonna break things. That's the standard. And that's what gets people most frustrated is, well, I want this compliance case to get fixed sooner. I want my sales to get higher sooner. Okay, well, that's not how Amazon works. It breaks things. You have to fix it. Can we get to a resolution faster and before it snowballs is the real answer. And that's, no one can monitor anything 24/7, but we can monitor things quicker, faster, and then pull up the issues into a priority list so that we can handle those first and foremost. Like it could get to the place where you say, it can not just review, but it can action. So you can say, here's the 5 things that you're going to do. If something is a problem in this order, this is how you address them. Here's what the end result looks like. Keep going until you get the end result. Like that could be amazing. And maybe that's, a couple of years from now, I don't know. But right now you're building stuff that can, with Helm, that can say, hey, here's big changes based on the parameters you gave me. You might want to go look into this.
Yeah. And like you said, eventually it will be like, cool, can I go do this? And you're like, yep, go for it.
How far do you think we are away from that?
Not far. There's some that already can, and I think with that, it's a trust issue. And so I don't know the timeline on that, but I think it's a big trust issue of like having this change. But yeah, I don't think we're that far.
What does that mean? Quantify that, ChatGPT.
Yeah, I don't know.
Claude?
I mean, for me...
I renamed my Claude Brett, by the way. I just want you to know
that. I wonder if you can do that.
Of course you can.
Can you?
I don't know. I'll do it. I'll check right now. Actually, I'm not going to check. I don't really care. I totally just changed my mind on that.
But back to your first thing is like, how does someone build something out? I mean, I've talked to a lot of people about this lately, and I think the biggest thing is you're drinking from a fire hose. So everyone's overloaded. Like, whoa, how do I get to that spot? Just start small.
That's what she said.
Just start small. Start with like a little chunk that you can do.
Oh man, yeah, for sure, is what she said.
Yeah, that is.
Start small and learn how to use. That sounds like I'm talking about drugs. Yeah. Learn how to use the model and use it well. One of the reasons I switched over to Claude is I had someone on my podcast and he was like, what are you using? Okay. He's like, try Claude. Here's what I do. You can create a project and you can say, hey, I want to create a project based on this. What do I need to do to create the project? Now the tool is working for you and telling you how it best operates. Well, you need an MD file. Okay, well, tell me what I need to put in the MD file. What are the parameters I need to give you in order to give me an MD file? What should I upload into the project? How should I use the project? That's enabled me to build two things inside of Claude recently. One is an advertising brain. The other is updating my like recommendation proposal process. They're still both being built, but it's allowed me to build these things and house them inside of Claude to basically ultimately save time. Like prospecting every single week. I do outbound prospecting for my agency. It used to take me like 6 hours. Over the course of time, I got down to 4. It's now under 2 because of something I built out with Claude connecting things. The problem is Claude only has publicly available information on the tools I was using. So I had to correct it multiple times and say, this tool can't do that. That's not possible. It wasn't factoring in things like how much this is going to cost. And I said, I never told it this, so technically it's my fault, but I said, everything you gave me costs more money. Like you need to factor that into what you're giving me. I never gave it that direction. It's not thinking about how much is Michael going to have to spend on these softwares. It's thinking what's the end goal and end solution. So the more context, the more harnesses, more guardrails you give it, the better. But yeah, start small. Start with like, I want to solve a problem and go and say, I need to solve this problem. Here's what I know about it. Here's where I want to get. How do I solve this problem? How do we figure this out together? Claude.
And here's another tip is that you're not going to break anything. So if you're like asking questions, trying to figure this out and trying to get to an end goal, just keep going. Like keep pushing buttons, keep pushing it. And like, if you get frustrated, just walk away, take a break, and then keep going.
I think when I first start something, I find myself being overwhelmed with confusion. And it feels like that's probably where a lot of people stop. But I've done it enough times and know what can come of it that I keep going. And then I start to realize, oh, like I'm getting somewhere. I'm making progress. And then I keep going and then I'm able to like finish and complete something. Is that how you feel?
Yeah. Yeah. Everything I've built is like, it has been a stepping stone to like everything I continue to build and every solution I'm trying to solve for. Like, I don't think I've looked back and been like, oh, that little thing has not worked. Or it's just kind of been a continuous stepping stone and a continuous like improvement, I guess, sort of say.
When you're building something, like each new thing that you build is an improvement?
Yeah, like the catalog CLI was an audit tool. And that started out from a friend of ours, Josh Justice, was like, hey, can you look at this?
Shout out to Josh Justice.
Yeah. And he was like, hey, we're working together with the client. And he's like, hey, can you check out like what I'm missing, like in this catalog of the back end stuff? I was like, yeah, let me take a breeze over it. You know, because some people see me as the, catalog person, which is super fun.
I was but
but every time, everything I go through, like, I know there's been a lot in the Amazon space. I'm like, there's got to be a better way. And I would just trudge through the mud and do it. And then I was like, oh, there is a better way. I bet I can make this even better. And I did. And that evolved. And there's a Rufus optimization in there. I might have to change the name to Cosmo optimization now to appease to the masses.
To appease me.
To appease you. Yeah, I'll do it for you, Michael. I'll let you know. But yeah, I mean, everything I've built has helped me. Like I'm using my own tools. I'm continuously improving on them.
Okay.
So I'm like, other people like will want to use them.
Well, that's also how you train and iterate on the tool. Is I'm using it, it breaks. How do I fix it? If you're not a builder or like a coder, you're probably not thinking about all the ways things can work and or break. So as you learn and you grow, as you build stuff, things are going to break. So you want to be able to, you have to test it yourself. And if you test it yourself and see how things break, you can then fix the model.
Yeah. And if people want to help out with that, let me know. Because
just like a good marriage.
I'm opening up the pilot program. Boom.
You are talk to people about your pilot program with Helm.
Helm.
Helm
I want
is
to
Brett's
get
Amazon intelligence tool. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Anyway,
I want to get some people in. Right now, it's the agent, the listing monitor agent that I have that I'm helping you develop and build as well. The ads agent will be in soon, and the whole purpose of this is that, like, if you're already in with a software provider, you can bring in their MCP as well. And
tell people what MCP is for, like, in a really basic way, just so people know and understand.
It's a way to bring in your data into Claude. That's a really basic way. So it's like, let's just say I've been playing around with IntentWise quite a bit. Let's just say using their MCP, it's similar to using their dashboard. You can ask it questions and it will come back with that data. But like we talked about, what do you do with that data next? So you got a lot of people who are like, well, I might as well just go to the dashboard. It's the same thing. Yes, but if you're creating workflows, you're creating schedules, and you're creating automated stuff within CoWork or Claude Code, then you'll want it to talk to that, because then it can create those automations correctly. So it's like, what do you do after that? And that's what I mean by knowledge base. It's like, hey, if your conversion rate has dipped, what do you do? And then if your traffic is low and your conversion rate's high on these campaigns, what do you do? Those kinds of things. It puts you in the right path. You're mental. You don't have to think about it as much. So you can make execution quicker and faster. So really what it comes down to,
be a human better.
Yeah. And, throughout the day you have brain power, and your brain power probably goes lower as you work more and more. So what if your output and efficiency is just as high as your peak time throughout the whole entire day by using tools and agents and things like that? I think that's where the real unlock is.
Okay. I love it. Tell people where they can find out about Helm, and then we're getting out of here.
Oh, DM me on LinkedIn right now.
DM Brett on LinkedIn. I was just interpreting for you.
I think I'm dropping the Amazon Cowboy thing.
Are you really?
I think so.
I think you should do whatever you want. You should be the Amazon RoboCop. Amazon. How about John Amazon Connor?
There we go,
dude. Brett Connor. I love it.
John Connor Bohannon.
People, I think if you've learned anything from today, one, it's I love dirty jokes. Number 2,
and Rufus is gone.
Is poop. Number 3, Rufus is gone. It never existed. It's always been Cosmo and Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson. And number 4 is just start small and test stuff. Just like we talk about with Amazon, you want to find a way to leverage AI. Think about it operationally. Don't think about it being your brain. Think about a way to solve and fix things and use that to your advantage. But that's it, people. We don't have anything else for you. So quit asking us all the questions. Okay, we answered them. All your questions answered. This is an AYQA. All right. Well, until next time, we're going to play some music, and we're going to sit here for about 5 seconds, and then we're going to turn it off.